design a Tic-Tac game where there are two players and
Hmm.
it's a 3 cross 3 grid. There are nine empty cells and nine pieces, five
Hmm.
eggs and four rows.
Hmm.
The rules are two players plays a game and the first move is played by the player who has all the X pieces.
Hmm.
The first player to form the horizontal, vertical, or diagonal sequence wins. Okay, so and the requirements are ask the user for the name of two players
Hmm.
and print the grid after initializing. Okay, the user has to make a move on behalf of both the players. If the move is invalid, print
Hmm.
invalid move, else place the pieces and print the board. Okay,
Hmm.
the position of the board and are represented using two values, row number 1 to 3, column number 1 to 3. Okay, that does make sense. Okay, now this is an 3 cross 3 grid. So we should be printing. Initially, we will be asking for the user name. Then we will be asking for the inputs, and if they are invalid, we will be printing that it's an invalid move.
Hmm.
The move will be invalid if the position that user wants are out of this bound, or there's already someone who has already taken that particular cell, and we are asking to replace it again. So at those particular 2 points, the we should be printing invalid. Otherwise, we will be you know let's say if a user has entered X, so this will be column 1 2 3, and this will be my column 1 2 3. So let's say user has asked me to fill X at position 2 comma 2, so I'll be placing X here. uh, Let me just make it centralized. Okay, so now the other entry should be of O. So yeah, so
This has to be taken from the user.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if last entry was X, the next entry has to be O. So if he's entering X, that could also be an invalid entry.
Hmm.
So yeah, as an input, I'll be taking three parameters. First is either it's X or O.
Hmm.
Next is the
No, no.
position.
Why will you take this X and Y as input? The user will not give this input, right?
Okay,
I
so
am the user. I will not give this as input. I'll just tell you
yeah,
which
so you will
column and
take
row to place, and you'll have to place the appropriate one.
yeah. So I don't have to worry about it. I just have to worry about the positions and
Yeah.
if they have been filled or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so now at 1 comma 2 my O will be fixed and it will go on. So let's say here my X, here's my O, and here's my X. So right now my X has been I mean it's matched diagonally, so at
Hmm.
this time I can return that the player X wins.
Hmm.
And if all the cells have been filled, then I will print the matches draw or something like that.
Right.
So yeah, it seems pretty straightforward. Shall we go directly to the
Yeah.
implementation?
Yeah. Please. Please.
I will start from here. So let's say this is my class. Right, not sure about its spelling, but let it be. So what will be in its constructor? Let me just define its constructor first. Um, uh, so it will be taking. So it's a 3 cross 3, right?
Hmm.
I won't be making it dynamic. It will always be 3 cross 3. I can make it dynamic if it's required, but let's just keep it to be what can I say fixed static for now.
Hmm.
So string player A, let's name it player A, and the string will be player B. So I'll be taking two parameters, player A and player B, the names basically, and I will be printing their names when that particular player wins. So yeah, I will be creating my grid as well. So and I will be having my string player A, player B. Now my grid will be new in of size. By the way, I'm writing this in Java
Hmm.
of size 3 cross 3. So I have initialized my grid. Then I'll be saying this dot player A is equals to player A, and this dot player B is equals to player B. Okay. Now apart from this, I will be having particular functions that the user can trigger, like like assign or something. I'm just
अच्छा ठीक है, go ahead. Okay, we'll come to that later.
okay. So uh, so let me just define a main class here first.
Please, before coding, can you please define what will be your classes and what will, because that is important, right? Before you even start coding.
Yeah.
Because let's
So
say I have doubt in that, so that would have to change the entire code, right?
yeah. So let me just write that particular function itself, which will I
Mhm.
will be calling class. Let's call it runner.
Let's write this on the left side, right? That will make this. Let's keep this part for coding. In any of the, yeah, over here. Can you just please mention the classes that you will be creating?
I will just create one class which is Tic-Tac, and I'll be having my main class runner.
Hmm.
So my runner will initialize a new instance of the game. Let's say like Tic-Tac game is equals to new Tic-Tac Tic-Tac. Okay, sorry, something like this, and I will be passing the name one, name A, and name two as the parameter.
Hmm.
Then I will just say game dot assign.
Acha, you will be passing this as a parameter to that function. But over here, you have in the function tic-tac, you have written it in the constructor, right?
Yeah, that's
Um,
because initially I'm passing the names of those two parameters.
but can you take input and then pass it to the constructor? Because isn't the constructor called first?
Yeah, yeah, that's why I will be running the main runner here. So in the
Acha,
runner, I will be printing the that particular commands and all.
ठीक है, makes sense.
So my tic-tac will only be having the instance. Then I can say game dot let's say play, and I will be passing the row comma column where I want to assign that particular uh, that particular piece. So if the last one was X, the next one will be of O, and so on. Then I can have it like this. Let's say 1 2. So this game dot play will be in a while loop. uh, Game dot play, let's say 1 comma 1, and something like this. And if after this move something happens, like the match is drawn, it is invalid, it will be printed out like that. So that will be the structure. So shall I proceed to the main code?
Sure, that
Okay.
works.
Okay, so let me just write that particular part first before I jump down into the tic tac function. uh,
No, just a minute. Can you explain this game.play part once again? I'm sorry, I missed
okay,
it.
so game dot play will take two inputs, the row and column.
Okay.
So if that particular position is valid, it will assign that particular piece to there, and if it's invalid, we'll be printing it accordingly. So
Hmm.
let me
Okay.
just,
Just 1 minute. Let me think on that. So you'll call the tic-tac class in the tic-tac class in the runner class and SA. Okay. Why do you think we shouldn't have a player class as well?
okay, because player will, yeah, we can have it, but player has only property of name, and it could be used as a string itself. And it's like a toggling, right? If one player has played once, the next player will be going to play the next thing. So I don't think so we are required to create a new object for this particular use case, at least. But yeah, in future, if we want to print some additional information about that player, or we want to store something which could be unique to that particular player, then yeah, we can definitely create that particular class, player class. But I don't think so. We will be requiring that for at least now.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, you can start with the coding. This looks decent enough for me.
Okay, so in my runner class, static wait, main class. Now here, I will be s- I will be printing. Um, okay, I need to import that thing first. So import. java.io dot star code java.gtl dot star. Okay.
Hmm.
Then in my runner class, I will be having um, system.print in enter the player one name of
Sorry.
player A. So something like this, and then I will be saying string uh, player A is equals to um, also I have to define the scanner as well. Um, scan is equals to new system dot in. Then I will just say player A is equals to scan dot next line.
Okay.
Then I will say I will just repeat this process. Sorry, the keyboard that I'm used to has a control button on other side and function button on the side.
Mhm.
That's why I
Yeah,
have
no,
to
no
make
issues.
the choice. So my player B will be scan dot next line. Enter the name of player B, and that will be entered. Now I will create my tic-tac class here. Tag. I'll be calling that object as game is equals to new tic tac, and I will be passing my player A, player B as the inputs. Now I will just say while true. So it will become. I know there will be at max 10 entries, but I'll be passing it in an while loop, because there might be invalid entries that user is entering recursively. So
Hmm.
it's good to have a while loop rather than the uh, nine blocks. So here I will just say system dot println. Uh, so let's just do one thing now. So this is like now the user has to enter his or his particular um, rows and columns, right? So I will be printing that thing here. So enter position. So sorry, enter uh, row number, row num, and I'll say int row num is equals to scan dot next int. Okay,
Hmm.
and then I will just say column num is equals to scan dot next, and I will just ask it to be enter this as well. Enter the call name. So now once the user has filled that, now I will check if game dot is valid row num comma column num. So the whatever user has entered, if it is valid, if that's the case, then I will just say game dot play. uh, okay, let's just talk about if what we'll be doing if it's not valid. So whatever user has entered, if that particular row column is not valid, I will be just printing system dot out dot print lin invalid entry. Okay, and uh, okay, so my game will be having is valid function. I have to write it down, but yeah, it will be there. So it will check if that particular row and column name is valid. If it is, it will be doing its operation, but if it is not, it will be printing the invalid entry, and our loop will continue. Okay, does that make sense?
Makes sense. Can you implement the is valid function?
Sorry, I can't hear you properly.
Sorry, can you implement the is valid function?
Yeah, okay. So I thought I should be running. Okay, I will first complete tic-tac function, then
Yeah, yeah,
we'll
sure,
move
sure.
on
Yeah,
to
yeah,
runner.
yeah. That makes sense.
Okay. So this is the game. So let's say boolean is valid is valid. So what it will be doing is it will be taking int row and int column. So I have to check basically two things: if R and C are out of the bound, and second, if there is something already in that particular position.
Okay.
Okay, so here we will just say okay is valid. So return R is less than R should be greater than or equal to 0, and R should be less than grid dot length. Uh, okay, so let's just say what will be the invalid case, and I'll be just returning all of that. So if my row is less than 0,
Hmm.
or my my row is greater than or equal to grid dot length, or my column is greater than less than 0, or my column is greater than or equal to grid. Actually there are threes, but I will be writing them like this because in case if we increase the dimension of that grid in future, grid of 0 dot length, or grid at index row at index column. I'm checking this particular condition last because at this time I'm pretty much sure that the RNC are not overbound out of the range. So if they are not out of the range, I'll be checking if my row and my that particular index is greater than 0. So initially I'll be filling my grid with -1 so that I know that there wasn't any player. So is valid. So I have to return not of this particular operation. So those are all the invalid entries, and my is valid will return not of that particular entry. Does that make sense?
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. So apart from boolean, there will be also uh, another entry, play. Okay. So what play will do? Uh, Play will take row and column as an input. Then if okay, so it has already checked every time we are playing play, it has already been checked if it's valid, so it's a valid entry. Now I will check if that particular I can fill that row for sure, and after filling that row I will check if that player can win the game. So if
Hmm.
he can, I will be returning true. So if my this function has returned true, I will say the game has been finished, that particular player has
Uh,
won.
One modification. Can you keep two separate functions for this? Because it might
Okay,
happen that in the future we
yeah,
might change our winning
makes sense.
requirements. We should
So let's
segregate every class just for that particular use case, right?
okay, so let's make it void. So void will check if is valid first, row comma column, because I won't be calling my play function without using invalid, but in future there might be some changes and which might have been called play before checking invalid, so is valid. So that's why I have been adding this here. If is valid, return. If not is valid, oh sorry,
Okay.
not is valid, I will be returning it because I can't play this particular scenario. Now if it's invalid, I will be returning it. Now I will
No,
just say
but why are you calling is valid inside this?
uh, uh, just in case if someone calls it, I mean I won't be doing it for this particular code, but I'm just trying to make sure that whenever the play has been called, my row and column are valid. That's why let's just do it a simple trick. Boolean. Okay,
Huh?
so it will be returning boolean if I can make it private now. I won't be calling it outside. I'll just calling play, and it will be returning false if the entry is valid. And if it is valid, I will be saying my row at index column is equals to true, and sorry, not true. Uh, Okay, here we need to think a bit, and in the end I will be returning true because the entry was valid and it has been filled. Does that make sense?
Uh,
So here I just have to do it like this. uh, Game dot play, and then I will be passing my row number and column number. Okay. So if it has returned true, then I will be checking if that diagonal matching and vertical matching has been done. And if it is returning false, then that means the whatever row and column I have entered, they are invalid. So I will be just printing invalid entry right there. Uh, does it make sense? I'm
okay,
calling play. Then inside play, I'm checking if the particular value entry is valid or not. If it is
okay,
valid, then I will be assigning it some value. I will be working on here. But if it is not valid, it will be returning false. So when it returns false, I will be printing it is an invalid entry.
okay, makes
Okay.
sense.
So now, yeah, I will be working here. But let me just cover all the functions first. There will be also a function. Uh,
Prul, just give me a minute, right? You continue coding. I'll be right back in a minute.
yeah, okay. Boolean. So, um, we can check it will be returning read at index.
Hello?
Ah,
Yeah, sorry, I'm back. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
yes. Okay, so I have made some changes.
Okay.
So I'll be calling string as player one and player two because it will help me while mapping the grid integers, and then boolean flag one. So if boolean flag one is true, that
Okay.
means the next entry is for player one, and if flag one is false, that means the current entry is for player two.
Okay.
Okay. So then I'll be passing my player one and player 2 as an input. Then I'll be creating grid. Initially all the values are 0. Then I can set the grid's value to 1 if player 1 is playing, and I can set it to 2 if player 2 is playing. That's why I changed the names. Then for row is valid, it will be same. I'll be checking those things. And yeah, this one also makes sense. If it is 0, then it has not been visited, but it is greater than 0, that means that particular place has already been marked and we are trying to mark it again, so that will be filed as invalid. So now if my I am here, I am at this line on line 14. So what does this means is my r comma c are valid. So I can assign some value to this particular row and column. So now I will just check uh, flag A,
Okay.
well, flag 1. So if my flag 1 is true, which means my first player is playing, so I can say grid RC is equals to 1 is to 2. Because I can assign 1 if player 1 is playing, 2 if player 2 is playing. And then I will just toggle my flag because the next entry should be of uh, player 2,
Okay.
flag 1. And I'll be returning true because this is a valid valid entry. So yep, that's done. So yeah, now I will be having my check function. So what check will do is it will check if this particular, I mean, if it is mapped horizontally or vertically, like that.
Okay.
So actually, I think there might be some optimization here, but for the sake of time, I will be just running a for loop which will be checking this every possible scenario. But yeah, I think we can optimize it. But yeah, I'll be not be doing it at least for right now. So if I want to check
Can you show my your isWin function?
uh, switch function.
The function that checks basically, whether it's a win or not.
Yeah, that's the check function, and that's what I'm writing right now.
Okay.
So check function will return an integer. So if it returns 0 means nothing, all okay. If it returns -1, it means the match is draw. If it returns +1, that means whatever player has played last has won the game. Okay. uh, so uh, just give me a minute, I'm just thinking about this check function. So it should check horizontal, should it check, okay, I can optimize it. I will be, uh, yeah, since I will be having row and column of the player that has played last, so I'll be passing my row and column here. So okay, I have called my check. Now I just have to, I mean, why this row comma column? Because I will be calling this check every after every valid play, right? So if my I know the row and column of the last one, I don't have to check for each possible one. So if this was the last entry, so I'll be just checking for this particular scenario, and this particular scenario. I don't have to worry about other possible scenarios. Okay, so
Why did you not take grid as a class? I had this question I wanted to ask.
I thought it's not required. I mean, I just wanted to make it as simple as possible. Uh,
No, see, okay. Uh, um, see, chalo ठीक है. Please go ahead with this. We can discuss that later.
okay. So check. So first I have to check horizontally. So I'll just say for int I is equals to 0, I is less than. I'm just writing it right. Okay, so let it be plus plus. Uh, okay. So I will just say uh, if my I have to go horizontally, and just give me a minute. So for this particular entry, I'll be going horizontally and we'll be checking if this particular value is equals to this or this or this. So initially I will be assigning my horizontal to be true. Now I will be going from 0 to that particular length. Then I will just say if my grid at index whatever is uh, my row and I.
Okay.
Okay, and if it is not equal to my grid at index r comma c. So so what does it means is I have here x and I have here o. So this particular scenario is not valid. So I will be just saying sorry, my horizontal is equals to false, and I can break it. Okay, so I have checked that. Now, I mean, initially I'm assigning horizontal to be true, and if there's an invalid entry, I'll be assigning it to false. Now, I will be just doing the same thing for vertical. Uh, mm, okay. So this is my vertical. So vertical is equals to true. Then I will be just going through this. Then my I of that particular C is not equal to, then I'll be saying vertical is equals to false, then I'll be breaking it. And then okay, so the same things will happen with diagonal and diagonal for left diagonal and right diagonal, and in the end I'll be returning horizontal or you know vertical vertical or for those other two diagonals, like that. So I have already took a lot of time, so I won't be writing its code, but it will be just the same. I will be just checking if this particular scenario is valid or not, and then if there is another possible diagonal, then I'll be checking for that as well. So that's what the string function will do. Now I think we have all the functions that we will be requiring, so let's just write it down. Okay, I will be needing one another thing. So I can make my this one private, so no one can access it or try to alter it. And then I will be having my public string um, current player. So so it will return the name of current player. Okay, so return flag a, flag one. So if a flag n one, I would like to return player one, or else I would like to return player two. So now let's go to the main function. So let me just go with all the functions that we have written. So current player will return the current, whatever is the current player. Constructor will take two parameters, player one and player two. Is valid will check if the particular entry that user has entered is valid or not. Play function will place the that particular card to that particular position. Then my check will basically check if that after user has made certain move, if that player wins or not. So that's what it will be doing. It will be returning true. Okay, sorry. So it will be returning three things. um, okay, let me just write the check logic properly. So what I can do is I will be having uh int moves. Okay, and I will be assigning moves to 0. So after every valid entry, my move will increment by one position, and there could be at max 9 moves. moves plus plus.
Where
So
are you
while
defining this
checking,
flag? Can you please show me?
sorry,
This flag variable. Sorry, flag variable. Where are you defining that?
yeah, here, and then while initializing, okay, I haven't initialized it, but the first player will be X, right? So I will be just making flag one is equals to true.
नहीं
So
तो why are you defining अच्छा ठीक है but you have not
initially someone has to start, right? So flag one means player one will start initially. So that's why this.
ठीक है makes sense.
Okay. So here, moves will increment, and then while checking, I will just check if any one of them have been satisfied. I mean, if horizontal is true, vertical is true, or diagonal is true, and if any one
Hmm.
of them true, I will be returning one. If all any true, true, return one. Okay.
Hmm.
If moves equal to, I'm just writing a pseudocode, equals to equals 9 means all the moves have been made. So I'll be returning -1 because it's a draw, and I'll be returning 0 otherwise. So if 0, you can proceed to the game. So that's what it will be doing. Now here in my main class, I will be having this one. So initially I will be printing row number, column number. Then I will check if game.play. So if it's invalid row and column, it will be returning false. Then I will be printing it's an invalid entry. But if it's a valid entry, I will just print. Okay, I will if okay. So I will just int check is equals to game dot ck check, and I will be just passing the row number, my current row number, and my current column number. Okay. Now I will just take if check my ck check equal to -1. I will just say it's a draw.
Hmm.
Draw. DRAW. Guess it's draw. Okay. Anyways, and I'll be breaking through my loop, and if else if check equal to 1, then I will just say system dot out dot println game dot current player. What's the function? Current player. Okay. Is it uh, player? And it will be returning the name of that player, and plus I will just write wins. Okay, and I will be breaking through my loop. So yeah, I think that's it. Let me go through the main loop or main function again. So
Hmm.
I'll be defining my scanner first, and I will be taking the name of player A in my.
Okay. Input. These are. It's okay. Part. Can you come down?
Yeah.
Let's go to the functionality to that other class only. This class looks pretty good to me.
Okay.
एक second ना game dot play if you do that and yeah please go to this play function.
Okay. Let me just make it more readable. Okay, so initially I'll be defining, then yeah, row number. I have to row number and column number. Then I'll say game dot play. Then I'll be
Hmm.
passing row number and column number. So
No, just come back to that runner class again.
okay,
Just 1 minute. अच्छा हाँ ठीक है you defined it over here. Cool, that works. Can you go to that game class?
uh, okay, play class, right?
Yeah, play method.
Okay, so when a user has entered the row and column in which he wants to place his entry, then here we will check if that is valid or not.
Hmm.
So if that row and column are valid, then I will be proceeding to the next slide, or otherwise I will be returning false. Okay.
Why have you written it as flag one? Why not just flag?
So actually flag one means player one is playing, so that's why the one is representing the player one.
Acha, okay. Because you see, naming
Yeah, yeah, I know.
is also important, right? I mentioned
Yes.
you before. Okay, moves plus plus. ठीक है. Why are we keeping this moves plus plus?
for checking purpose, if we haven't identified any left, right, or up or down match, I mean nothing has matched, then we will just check if my moves are 9. So if the moves are 9, then it means the next player can't make any moves. So at that time we will be returning -1. And what this -1 indicates is there is a draw. Okay. Actually, we can optimize this check function, but yeah, I have just went as straight as I can, because I had already wasted a lot of time.
Okay, just 1 minute. One thing I had a doubt on. In the grid function, you know what you're checking? Checking is you're checking.
Yeah, yeah. Let me just write it here. Uh,
No, I got your point. I understand your logic. That is okay, but can you go back to your code again? Play and it's go down, go down.
then there is a check.
No, that runner class. Can you go to the runner class?
Okay.
Yeah.
So if this returns true, that means it's a valid entry, and we have updated that. So then we will be checking if after that particular entry, our game has
No,
came to.
yeah, that makes sense. Just go back there again. I have a doubt that I think game dot current player.
Yeah, okay. So every time a valid move has been made here, so I am updating my flag, right?
Hmm.
So if initially,
This is
let's just look at here. So if flag one means player one is playing, so I will be assigning grid out row and comma as one, or else I will be assigning it two,
hmm.
right? So
And now
when
you will change the flag.
flag, yeah. So that next time the player two's
But what
grid
if
number.
after playing this move player one wins? So check function is called after play, right?
Yeah, yeah, here. So if play has returned true, then I'll be checking for check. After every play, I'll be checking check here.
No, no. My point you are not getting.
Yeah,
Uh,
I,
in
I was
you
trying to do it in the same place, but you told me to separate those things out.
No,
So
no,
that's
no,
why.
no, no, no. You're not getting my point. You are see player one. Player one is moving right, so flag one is equals to one. ठीक है?
Yes.
Player one ने कोई move चल दी, ठीक है?
Yep.
Now it's done. Now what you're doing is you are then changing flag to player two. That
Yep.
means कि अब player two की बारी है.
Yep.
Player two की बारी है, but we haven't still checked कि player one के चलने के बाद we have won or not,
Yeah. We are
right?
not checking it here, but in the main function, after calling this play, we are calling this check.
Right. And if check returns one, what we do is we check, we return game dot current player wins. So your
Yeah, and
current
then
player is now is two, right?
okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Got your point. So um, get current player. So I can have get other player as well. Get previous player. Let it be like this. Uh, can have an additional previous player. So if it's flag one, I'll be returning player two, and otherwise I will be returning player one. And in here, I will be just checking get previous player. Yeah, thanks for pointing it out. I totally forgot about it.
Can you go back to your runner class again? No, no, not the runner, the Tic-Tac class.
Okay.
Let me see one minor things over here. Go above, go above. Why aren't all these functions private as well?
Yeah, I mean the time constraint. I would have written it more properly, but I was just writing it in a very early rush. I should have been, made them private as well and added some getters and setters to make it more secure. But
Private and no, no. So that is important point, right?
yeah, I know.
Your hurry of writing code should not miss out private, static, final, these kind of things. These are what we are looking for as well.
Yeah,
So the string has to be final, the grid has to be final.
yep, totally. Should I make it right now, or is it
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. I just for you to think about. That is one thing.
Yeah. It won't be final yet because we are updating it.
Sorry, not grid, but the players. Yeah. Hmm.
My this one will be private and this one will also be private moves, and then
Just give me 1 minute. Let me see your constructor as well.
okay.
This new int 3 by 3. Where is it assigning -1 or something like that?
It's not. So it's basically assigning three values. Initially, it will be assigned zero. So my grid will be zero. So what that zero means is my cells are empty. Then I will be assigning one if player one has made that move, and two if player two has made that move. And while checking is valid, I'm checking if my grid's values are greater than zero, because initial value was zero. If the already at that particular grid I have something which is greater than zero, that means that cell has already been filled. And here I'm updating my grids values to 1 or 2.
Okay. Just let me think one. Uh, for any corner case that you might have missed. Now is equals to 2, you return 1. If it's not equals to 2, you return 2. Then you place it and no, but where are you initially placing the values 0 in the grid?
Okay, so in Java, when we define a
अच्छा,
grid,
it by default
it
gives 0 क्या?
yeah assigns zero. Yeah.
ऐसा let me check cast. Default 0 for all numeric primitive types. ठीक है. No. And where are you using the moves part? Can you show me that as well?
In the check, in the end, I just have to check if the moves are, equal to. I mean, all the cells have been filled or not. So that's why I'm choosing. That's why I'm using. Initially, I'm checking if the player has won or not, and
Mm-hmm.
after that, I'm checking if my moves have been fulfilled or not.
ठीक है, makes sense. Looks good to me, Prajal.
Yeah.
Just keep in mind the points that I told you about.
Yep.
Uh,
I actually in the background I was aware about those things, but I just wanted to write it as quickly as possible. So